Hi there, my name is Gabby O'Connell. I chose to read Start With Why, How Great Leaders Inspire Everyone to Take Action by Simon Sinek. As college students, we are making decisions every day that will impact the rest of our lives. This can be overwhelming, but the book Start With Why by Simon Sinek can help you to realize your why. I highly suggest this book to anyone starting a new chapter in their life or trying to re-inspire a current one. This book is good for everyone because it can be relatable to anyone at any point in their life. Whether that be a college student deciding what you want to do after graduation, like many of us right now, or whether you are already immersed in your own business, this book appeals to everyone. It also relates to real leaders and successful companies and their stories. It can help make the message real when you can connect a familiar company story to Sinek's explanations. The author explains that when you start with why, you avoid complications and poor leadership tactics, which I believe everyone can find useful in their life. Sinek starts the book off by talking about the difference between innovation and novelty, and why knowing the difference is important for a company. Let's throw it back to Motorola's Razr cell phone. It used to be the hot new thing. Celebrities showed off their Razrs on the red carpet. Prime ministers even showed it off in pictures with their new Razr cell phones. It seemed like the addition of a camera to the cell phone was extremely innovative, as well as the etched keyboard in slim size and look. Having sold over 50 million phones, there were few people that could argue that it wasn't successful. But like any new product, the competitors created similar products, and stock for Razr cell phone traded at less than 50% of its average value 4 years after the Razr was launched in 2004. Sinek goes to explain how the Razr is similar to Colgate toothpaste. You may think that they have nothing to do with each other, because how is a cell phone similar to toothpaste at all? But think when you go to the store to buy toothpaste. In the 1970s, Colgate sold only 2 types of toothpaste, but competition increased and Colgate's sales therefore went down. So the company introduced a new product, toothpaste with fluoride strips. And then they introduced whitening and anti-cavity. And then they introduced another new product and another and another. Each of these new ideas boosted sales for a short period of time. Think about going to the store to buy toothpaste now. Colgate sells over 32 different types of toothpaste, and that's if you're just choosing from the Colgate brand. Colgate's competitors sell similar products for similar prices. What Colgate and other companies disguise as innovation are really just novelty. This is similar to cell phones. Since the Motorola Razr, Apple has taken over the cell phone industry. But removing the buttons and making a full touchscreen phone isn't what makes Apple's iPhone innovative. These are features that other companies can easily replicate, and they all have. Not only did Apple change how phones are designed, but most importantly, they changed how the industry functions. It used to be that the service provider would dictate what features and benefits the phone would offer, but Apple decided that they would tell the service provider what the phone would do, not the other way around. AT&T was the first to comply, making Apple the success that the iPhone is. They challenged the status quo. They created a new idea instead of what is next, making Apple the most innovative. It is important that leaders understand they need to inspire people rather than manipulate in order to motivate them. This introduces the main concept of Sinek's whole book, the Golden Circle. The Golden Circle, for most companies, starts on the outside and works its way in. This starts with the what. What do we do? Almost every company is able to answer that question. Either we sell computers or we sell cars. Every company is able to identify the product or service that they provide. The what is the easiest to identify and everyone can do it, so it is the largest and on the outside of the circle. Then you move in one ring to the how. This gets a little fuzzier and harder to identify for some companies. The how is often given to explain why something is different or better. Then the one missing detail and the main detail is the innermost circle, the why. Very few companies can explain their why. Many will say it is to make money, but that is not a why, that is a result. A why is your main cause or belief. What is your purpose? Why does your company exist? Why do you get out of bed every day to do what you do? Most companies operate on how you would expect, from the easiest question to answer first to the hardest. From the outside of the circle to the middle, the what to the how, and rarely to the why. But the inspired companies and leaders don't do this. They operate from the why, then work outwards. Sinek uses Apple as an example often because it is a familiar concept for readers to grasp and relate to. If Apple were to use the golden circle like everyone else, their marketing statement would sound like this. We make great computers. They are beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. Would you like to buy one? It isn't a very compelling sales pitch, but it is the most common one. But this is not what the successful leaders and companies do. They start from the inside and work their way out. This example for Apple can be rewritten stating the why first, which would sound like this. Everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. The way we challenge the status quo is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. And we happen to make great computers. Would you like to buy one? They don't simply reverse the order of the information, but they actually start with why, and that is what drives the company and their motivation and inspiration. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. This is Sinek's whole idea of starting with why, and why this theory will help leaders to inspire others to take action. Once leaders are able to figure out their why, the next step is inspiring others to start with why. This requires clear communication. Back to the example of Apple. Most of us don't own books on the creation of the company or know Steve Jobs personally. We haven't been to the Apple headquarters and experienced the workplace culture. But the reason Apple has such a strong group of followers isn't because they were all there to experience its creation firsthand. It is because Apple so clearly communicates their why. They run their whole business based off this why and let it be known to all. Another example of this communication is with Harley Davidson. They have a logo that is well known to all. For most companies, a logo is just a logo. But because Harley Davidson started with why, they have created themselves a symbol. People have the Harley Davidson tattoo tattooed on their body. A company logo permanently tattooed on someone's skin is crazy, but this is because they have so diligently communicated their why. Their company is extremely clear in its beliefs and values and have created a symbol with meaning behind it. This type of communication of why is what makes a great companies and leaders with such a strong following. I know I have used a lot of examples about Apple and other well-known companies and businesses. Sinek refers to Apple in almost every chapter of the book because it's familiar and relatable. Sinek touches on price and promotion, manipulation, and fear, all tactics that relate to creating successful businesses and being a company leader. You may be thinking that this book is all about business and how to create a successful business and following for that company. But that is not the case. Many of us taking this online course have futures in science, healthcare, and medicine. While this book doesn't touch directly on this topic much, the roots are all the same for creating strong leaders in any field. Whether you're in business or healthcare, there's one root cause for inspiration, and it's starting with why. Like I mentioned before, this book is great for anyone because it relates to someone at any point in their life. You could be trying to motivate yourself or others. You could be in a new chapter of your life or trying to re-inspire your current one. If you are going into a lab or research setting, start with your why. Why are you doing what you're doing? This is what is going to put you one step ahead and create new medical breakthroughs and ideas. If you're going to med school to be a doctor, inspiration within yourself will come from why you chose this path and why you are here. This book helps create strong leaders who can motivate others around them, whether it is in a business setting or a healthcare setting. Strong leaders are created when they start with why. This book has motivation for anyone to rethink their why and live their life by starting with why. The real-life examples of different leaders and companies showing how they are successful because they start with why is inspiration for others to want to do the same. As college students, we have been going to school our whole lives. It is hard to get lost in the daily routine and forget why we are doing this. What inspired you as a young high school student to pick Michigan State? What inspired you to pick your major? And what inspired you to pick your career for after graduation? This can all get easily lost, but if you continually think back to your why, you can re-inspire yourself and others. Yes, I had mentioned this book mainly focuses on business and companies. How did I tailor this reading towards science and medicine? Sinek often refers to why, how, and what of leadership and teams, but never really focuses on the who. When I was reading these situations in this book, I often thought of them relating to my life in career settings. Many of the real-life scenarios start with science, engineering, and innovation. The science behind things is the root for how they become successful. For example, Apple computers. People used to assume the world being flat. Airplanes and car engineering. The golden circle in all of Sinek's theory of why is broken down into a science to figure out why it works. How do companies keep this inspiration and their why in their leadership? Sinek refers to the bus theory. This states that if the leader or boss of a company were to die in a bus crash, how would the company's success be affected? This means that everyone should be prepared for something to happen, along with communication that everyone is aware how to step in and how to be a leader. This involves strong communication and leadership. Start with why gets the reader thinking outside of the box on ways to inspire themselves and therefore inspiring others around them. This book is great for many types of leaders and different types of business and careers, and I highly suggest it for anyone who needs to re-inspire their own why in life.